He's like, you're not cool. And I go, not cool? I'm in a band. What are you talking about? I'm not cool. He goes, well, yeah, you're like in a band cool, but you're not. Yeah, but you're not cool. I can't say yeet.
You're not doing blow off the kitchen counter when I wake up.
Totally.
What's up with that?
Hello and welcome. You join us in the Enema studio with some actual punk royalty. It's Blink-182. We have Mark and Matt. Welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
So you're here to talk about your recent released album. Mm-hmm. It's your 9th album. It's called 9.
Yes.
Tell us, how did you come up with the title?
It's the 9th record. Actually, we had some discussions in the band about what we were going to call it. We thought about a joke title, didn't like that, didn't love anything that we were coming up with, and we were like, well, this kind of has the feeling of the Untitled record, like maybe we call it Untitled 2, or even more Untitled.
Untitled.
Yeah, but since it's the 9th album, we just called it 9.
I love that you answered my really stupid icebreaker question there really sensibly, so thank you for
that. Oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So a lot of reviews of the album have said that it's, they've mentioned the word mature, they've said it's the most mature Blink-182 album to date. So, like, is that a compliment in Blink world, mature? Is that what were you aiming for that?
I guess. I don't know. Every time we release an album, they say, is this the album where Blink-182 finally grows up? And we haven't, necessarily. But there's no joke songs on this record, and it's definitely heavier in tone than most of our other stuff.
It is. I mean, it's got some quite heavy stuff on there, actually. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about medication on there. Is that something that's kind of plays heavily on in your experience at the moment? Or
I feel like people self-medicate a lot now. I feel like the world self-medicates.
I mean, especially in America, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
People dropping like flies from government, opiates and speed and all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being pumped into us. So yeah, they're thinning the herd over there. And
especially kind of some of the people that Travis has worked with, for example, have kind of fallen prey of that kind of opiate crisis over there. So did that kind of inform it as well?
I don't think the opiate crisis so much as just people seem very on edge. People seem tense. The world seems anxious, and I feel like people are looking for a way to kind of numb that pain. We say the words "numb the pain," I think, in 2 or 3 songs on the record. And that's just the state of the world right now.
A good way of doing that, of combating that stuff, though, can be humour, can't it? Did you think possibly this was the time to make a big, stupid, silly record with fart jokes on it? Or
no.
No.
None of us were feeling farty. I mean, we had a fun time in the studio, and I think that we are generally happy people and, happy in our lives, but there's some heavy stuff happening.
The state of the world then kind of played heavily on your mind when
yes,
you're making it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible to kind of be an artist at the moment and not be affected by what we see on a daily basis?
I don't know that it's possible to be a human being and not be affected by what is going on a daily basis. I think it seeps into every single thing. Like the past few years has just brought out the absolute worst in people.
In what sense? What do you think? Like the kind of the extremism, the
polarizing
the rhetoric,
polarizing politics. I mean, literally the planet is melting. It sucks. Well, and we can't seem to get a handle even on that. Like, okay, if you keep doing this, everybody's going to go. Like, it's going to be a real bad thing for everybody on the planet. Oh, well, okay.
Well, right now,
I'll take that plastic bottle, sure.
We have people kind of gluing themselves to trains and things for Extinction Rebellion in London at the moment. Have you been tempted to join in any of the
Well, that's not going to stop the polar ice caps from melting, is it?
Well, no.
So no, I have not thought about gluing myself to a train. We were actually just talking about this in the lobby. I think it's good to stand up for what you believe in, but I'm more of a pragmatist. I think that, good for you for standing up for what you believe in. I think that real change comes from day-to-day practice and also comes from people in places of power, and that's where real change happens. I mean, the world's going to end one day anyway. We're just accelerating the process exponentially and unnecessarily.
And there's a song on there that deals with kind of mass shootings as well, which is something we hear about so much, and it's just so kind of shocking over here because it's such a different culture. But
it's still shocking in America.
Yeah.
It just happens so often that it's disgusting if it happens once, and it's probably happened twice since we've been talking.
Exactly. Yeah, this is the thing. When you look at the statistics, it's crazy how many there are that we don't really hear that much about. What was it about this? It was in California, wasn't it?
It was right down the street from where we were recording.
So it was kind of too close to home in a way.
Well, yeah. With guns in America right now, the mass shootings happen so often that you get confused over which. Like, was that the one at the mall? Was that the one at the gas station? Which one was that? Was that the school one? It's just awful, and you just are overwhelmed with all this information about gun shooting. Like, you lose track of it. And in just the past 2 years, in my family, school was canceled for my son one day because a prior student, posted a picture of a shotgun and said, "I'm coming back and I'm gonna get after all the people who did me wrong."
What runs through the head of a parent when you see something like that, or you hear about that?
Well, luckily the school was very proactive about it. This happened. We had dropped off our son at the bus stop, and we were driving home, and he called us like 10 minutes later and said, "School's canceled. They think someone with a gun is headed there." So that sucked. Then, we were recording this album, and there was the shooting right down the street in Thousand Oaks. And then I was literally headed to the mall in El Paso the day that the shooting happened there. So, I mean, just in my family, there's been, it just happens a lot. And how do you deal with that?
But I mean, so you kind of ways of processing it is to do a song like it's, remind me the title of it, it's Heaven, is it? Or?
Yeah, it's Heaven. Yeah.
Do you ever kind of approach something like that and think, like, is this in our wheelhouse? So people have a perception of Blink-182, don't they? And I think this album would challenge people's perception of that, probably. Are there limits to where you can go and things you can talk about? Or?
I don't feel like there are. I feel like we can talk about whatever we want to. If it means something to us, then we're going to write about it. I don't feel like there's anything that's off limits. We don't normally talk about politics, and I don't think we really talk about politics on this record. The stuff that we talk about are apolitical, more human rights things, LGBT rights and women's rights, and don't go shoot a whole bunch of people.
That's a simple message.
It's a pretty apolitical message.
Yeah. Is it hard when you're putting together set lists now to kind of juxtapose some of the early material against some of this newer stuff? Or?
No, I think we just, we just came off a tour, a long tour in the U.S. where we played all of Enema, the State, front to back for the 20th anniversary. And then Matt and I went out into the crowd and did a couple of songs acoustic, and then Travis did his drum solo, and then we played like an abbreviated rest of the set, normal set. So we were playing old songs, new songs, all the different records, and everything seems to fit together pretty well.
I want to talk about that too, actually, and Enema of the State, but we'll get to that in a bit. So you had Lil Wayne supporting you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So that's like, I'm thinking, there was a bit of, why is this happening? From some fans, but apparently it went down an absolute storm, right, every night?
Yeah, Wayne kills it every single night. He toured with a band, a shredding rock band, and his crew was awesome. When we first announced it, for some reason there were some fans of ours who were like, I don't want to go see a show with a hip hop artist. I want to go see a rock,
And it's like, it's 2019, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really shows, I don't know. Like, my son listens to all kinds of music, and I don't think you could even say, what kind of music do you listen to? And he would be able to say, I just like music. I mean, he listens to, Vampire Weekend and Tyler, the Creator and Ariana Grande and Blink-182 and some rock bands here and there, but he doesn't even classify it as, a genre of music.
What's Lil Wayne like to hang out with?
Stoned. He's really nice.
Yeah, he's super nice.
He's really chill, and he's usually got some syrup and lean and a blunt in his hand. So he's very chill.
Yeah. He's always smiling, always happy.
Really,
and the more time you spend around him, the more chill you get as well, I presume, then, if there's a kind of cloud of blunt smoke coming off him.
No, I think he just immediately, when we did a video, a mashup kind of thing before the, as like tour promotion and, for fun, and the first day that I met him, I don't know, I don't really get, especially somebody that gives off such a mellow vibe. Somebody's giving off skittish vibes, I think like anyone, it makes you skittish, or me, or anyone. But he was just chill. And I also don't, in all honesty, didn't really know his music before. I knew that, the things that I'd heard, I knew he's talented, and, it just, it wasn't my cup of tea until I saw it live, and now I consider myself a fan.
Okay, great, yeah. So as you mentioned that you were playing Enema of the State on that tour. What was it like revisiting those songs? So it's 20 years since the album. I mean, like, to put that in context, the album was such a huge worldwide success. Have you any idea of the sales of the album? It was in the...
I think tens of millions.
Tens of millions,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it was kind of the album, sort of everyone had that album at the time, didn't they? What's it like to kind of go back and deep dive on that?
After being on that tour, playing the show, playing that album every single night, I came away with two things. Number one is that I love the record. There was no songs that we got to during the set that I was like, I don't want to play that song again. I think that it holds up really well. And the second thing is that there were people coming to the shows who weren't even born when the record came out. And they were singing every single word. So that means that someone in 2019 is picking up Enema for the first time, listening to it, and it's affecting them enough that they want to go out and sing it at a show. It's great. Blink has kind of become this multi-generational thing now where people are bringing their kids, or people are discovering Blink for their first time, or people have been coming for 20 years.
I love the thought of kind of parents sitting their kids down and putting Enema of the State on and go, listen to this, like, listen to this,
Yeah.
It's so good. So you weren't in the band at the time, Matt, but like, what did it mean to you, that record? Was it one that you
Well, that was the
had
record
in
that...
rotation much, or?
Yes, we were, Alkaline Trio was touring the US. The first time I heard it actually was in the studio. They had just finished Enema, and we were working with the same producer on a trio record, and he played us, I think it was just, he had just gotten the master, and played it for us a couple times, and then when the record came out, we all bought it like the day it came out on tour, and depending on who was driving, it was in pretty heavy rotation in our van. And then shortly thereafter, we went on tour together, and the rest is history.
Is it ever a kind of a freaky moment, sort of, especially when you're doing something like playing the whole album? Think,
Just
oh my
right
God,
now.
I'm playing this album. It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's in a really great way. Like, it's dreamy. You know, it's definitely surreal. It's a weird thing, though. I have. I didn't know what specifically it was, but when I met these guys and when I saw the band play, I felt that something, our paths were going to cross beyond just touring together.
Wow. Okay.
And Mark and I had spoken about we were going to do a children's record called The Serial Killers. We were like, we had, you know, just being friendly acquaintances and fellow musicians and, you know, fans of each other's work. We had just talked about it, and like anything, family and tour and things kind of get in the way. But when Mark initially asked me to have lunch, you know, it was like, I thought it was maybe regarding that. And so my sort of quasi-premonition about these guys was, you know, I thought it was this children's record or something, and it was going to do really well.
Why hasn't that happened, by the way?
I guess it has more likelihood of happening now that we're, you know, spending almost every waking hour together. So,
Yeah, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah, I can see a Pixar film or something.
and people are starting to try and, you know, steal the serial killer's idea. Mike Dirnt.
Uh-oh.
No, it's funny. It's like their crew, or so I saw him like start hashtagging serial killers. But in all honesty, I got my nephew like a prison jumpsuit that was like a onesie when he was a kid that said serial killer on the back of it. So I didn't think of it.
I guess it seems like a lot of artists are kind of reluctant to mark big anniversaries like that, but with the new material coming out at the same time, it didn't feel like too much of a nostalgia exercise to go by that.
No, but that's something that Blink never wants to be ever. Travis and I have talked about this many, many times. Like, we always want to be writing new music, putting out new material, and never just leaning back and being like, well, we wrote some cool records 20 years ago, let's play those.
Does it kind of afford you a bit of kind of endless youth making the sort of music that you guys make?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just being in a band allows us to be, you know, functioning adults, but at our core, just idiots. I mean,
were you tempted to mark the anniversary of What's My Age Again by doing an anniversary naked run through?
Not at all. Never again.
You could do a mass one, you know, get all the fans out.
Yeah, totally. No.
Or get arrested.
The naked
I was
thing.
just going to say mass incarceration.
The naked thing got done way too much, and I mean, even now, you know, we still get asked about it.
You still get asked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of something we did it to ourselves, you know. I mean, we did the videos, and
in a way, it probably helped you get noticed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, we came here from Good Morning Britain, and the first thing that they said, you know, from running naked on the streets in their videos to our studios.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's the first time I
20 years
was
ago.
not jealous of not being in the beginning of this band. When I
Yeah.
see the naked guys running down the street, I'm like, that's not me.
So, and in terms of, will you mark the kind of the follow-up to Enema of the State as well with an anniversary?
Take off your pants and jacket in 2021, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I've got to say, I was gonna obviously, the social climate changes quite a lot. Things like take off your pants and jacket, like. When I was doing my research last night, I snickered again at that album title. You know, it's
That's a good album title.
Yeah. I mean, are there any of your titles or lyrics that you kind of regret now, or are there some that you kind of that still tickle you a little bit like that did last time?
I mean, there's some stuff that I feel like, you know, we probably wouldn't write again, but it was who we were back then. And so I think with everything, you grow as a person, you get smarter, you get more empathetic, you get, you know, hopefully we're always pushing towards a better world.
When you start a band like Blink, do you expect that it's going to have the sort of longevity that it has done? Is it like there was no precedent really? You were the first massive pop punk band. We didn't know that in this genre you could go on to a lifelong career.
No, there was never any thought of that at all. You know, when Green Day broke, I think that everybody in our community playing music and starting bands was like, holy shit.
It was an anomaly for
Yeah,
sure.
that's
None of us
weird.
did this for money or fame or anything. We did it because we were punk rock kids.
Do you? I mean, you know, I said pop punk there. Do you like the term pop punk? Do you kind of?
It's kind of, I mean, it is where we started for sure. We
Yeah.
were definitely a pop punk band in our beginning. And I think since then we've grown, we just call ourselves a rock band now.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, you know, when you start saying pop punk band, people are like, you guys aren't punk. But we've had that since we started. In the beginning, we weren't punk because we were in San Diego, and San Diego wasn't punk rock. And then we signed with an indie label, but it wasn't one of the right indie labels. So we weren't punk rock because we signed with the San Diego label. And we weren't punk rock when we signed with the major label. We weren't punk rock when we
No
got on
one
the
was
radio.
punk rock, by the way. 'Cause
Yeah.
I could say the same thing about Alkaline. You can't. There's no such thing. Doing things that aren't punk rock to me is punk rock. Being an individual is punk rock. It's more of a lifestyle than it is a music style. Pop punk, I think, is a bit, especially with this new album, is it's not accurate.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, but you definitely kind of created a sound and certainly popularized the sound. Do you kind of look at artists now and think, yeah, do you see your legacy in modern artists? So?
I'm told about it more than I recognize it. You know,
Right.
bands like Panic at the Disco and All Time Low and Good Charlotte and even bands like Neck Deep coming up. Lots of bands cite us as influences, and that's a huge honor and something that means a lot to me. But I don't listen to a band and go, oh, you motherfucker, you stole that from us.
Not on camera, anyway.
Yeah. Not at the NME building, I don't say that.
Which are there any kind of like brand new bands that you're really into?
Well, I love Fantagram, who have a new record out right now. They're not a new band. I like Oliver Tree.
Right.
Yeah.
So Travis really gets in with the pop kids, doesn't he? These days, he sort of like does a lot of collaborations and things.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He works with, you know, big names. He works with up and comers. He works with pop artists. He works with hip hop artists. He works with solo artists. He's kind of got his hands in a lot of stuff right now.
Is that because obviously Travis doesn't tour? He doesn't come on foreign tours.
Right.
So he tours domestically in the US with you.
Yeah, and when we come over here, he takes the boat.
Yes. Right. Okay. Yeah. So on a trip like this, whistle stop.
Yeah.
He's at home. Does that kind of free up some time for him to do this kind of stuff, or is he just?
He is always working on stuff. Even when we were on tour, he brought us an engineer and a studio setup that he brought into his dressing room every day, and people were coming in on tour. He was working with Nothing Nowhere while we were out on the road. He was writing for other people in the dressing room, so he doesn't need.
Sounds exhausting.
He's just a busy. He thrives best when he's working on a lot of different things. Travis doesn't do well with downtime. He doesn't do well with vacations. He doesn't do well.
On his bus, just sitting still.
Yeah, just sitting still.
He's such a chill guy. from here up.
Right.
You know, but
Yeah.
he's always tapping, and like he's got so much just
Drummer syndrome,
well
hasn't he? Yeah.
beyond that, because
Right.
he's more than just a drummer. He has such a wild musical mind and such a busy guy. It's like he would probably be I don't know what if he wasn't a musician. He's a musician through and through, and workaholic, a workhorse. It's awesome.
So, Matt, you officially joined 3 years ago now.
I don't know.
It was like 5 years ago.
It was
I
like
think,
5
now.
years ago, yeah, pushing
Okay.
5, I think.
Apparently, the official, I don't know, maybe there was some sort of legal contract.
Maybe, could have been.
I was going to ask you, before if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice about surviving being in Blink-182, what would it be?
I don't think I wouldn't change much. I mean, I think that everything that I experienced. I mean, I was doing non-musical, some theater work. It was musical, I should say. Literally, it was for a musical. I was working on some music for a play that my friend wrote. Doing some film score stuff. At least just getting my foot in the door in different, kind of what's next. It's like, just starting to do other things. And I feel like a lot of those things prepared me for this. So younger me, I still have a lot of advice for, but I'm still here and I feel, I can look myself in the mirror and sleep at night, so I got to be doing something right.
Is Blink-182 an easy band to be in?
No band is an easy band to be in. It is definitely, me and a friend were talking this morning about, and we have very different careers, but we were talking about how much when you love what you do, it doesn't seem like work. There's a lot of travel, which can be exhausting. There's a lot of everything that goes into any job, I think, that can be exhausting. But I don't feel like I have a job. I don't say I go to work. I don't work. I play music. I don't work music. So I feel like I'm always growing and learning, but I don't have any immediate advice for myself regarding Blink.
There's obviously been some kind of tensions in the past. Members have come and gone. I did read that you'd spoken to Tom for the first time in a couple of years. Before this album.
Yes.
What's the state of your relationship with Tom now?
We talked on the phone for probably half hour, 45 minutes, just catching up. How's your family? How's life? What are you up to? That kind of stuff.
Is it kind of like, an old girlfriend type thing where you sort of, what's the...
It's not an old girlfriend.
I don't talk to my old girlfriends.
Yeah.
An awkward bump into in the street with an old girlfriend conversation.
Oh, no, it was kinder and more genuine than that. It wasn't just platitudes and hope you're good. Yeah, cool.
Have you read his books?
I have not read the books.
Aren't you tempted?
No, it's not my thing. I don't.
Yeah.
That's not my area of interest.
It's definitely. So Aliens is his area of interest.
He loves aliens, extraterrestrial stuff.
Did you kind of spot him first getting into this, or was it always?
Oh, he's always been into this. He's
Right.
been into this forever. I mean, even when we were like touring in a van, he'd be driving at night and.
Yeah, there's a song on Enema the State. I think it's the second or third song on the album. Aliens Exist.
Yeah, he's been into it for forever.
He said this quote to us actually last time we spoke to him.
Take me to your dealer.
It said, if I played Blink-182 to aliens, they would get really offended and start an interplanetary war.
Maybe they would. Who knows?
Maybe that's what you can do on Blink-182 Day.
Totally.
Start an interplanetary war.
Yeah.
He has hinted that he would kind of come back and play with you guys at some point. Is that kind of off the table, or would you?
I mean, I won't say never, but I think that he's very happy doing what he's doing, and we're very happy doing Blink-182 and all the stuff that we do, and it's all good. There's no hard feelings. It's just he does that, and we do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, how would you feel about that?
I mean, I told one of the first conversations we had, just so that, because I knew that it was, there was a lot of, shit talking and whatever, and understandandably, and I think, there's been things where I posted something recently where I said I'm really into identified flying objects, because I was wearing a Blackbird SR-71 hat, and I honestly did not even think about Tom and the UFO thing. That's how far from my mind he and his ambition. I wish him the best of luck. He's been nothing but amazing to me. We were toured together, and I would consider him a friend to this day. Like, if he called me and needed me, I'd be there if I could, or whatever. But
This was seen as.
But I
starting
think
a beef.
everybody saw it as like there was this huge thing, and I think I think things got blown out of proportion. But I just said to Mark and Travis in private, and in early interviews, it comes up. So it's like it's not an awkward thing, and I wanted to kind of squash that from the beginning. There really isn't anything that you can't talk to me about. I'm pretty much an open book. I don't get jealous. I don't get worried about what tomorrow brings. I'm here right now talking to you. That's all I care about right now. So
if it turns out Tom's right, aliens are going to kind of, say aliens invade. He's got a bunker there or something. I'm sure he does. Is he going to let you in? Would he? Do you reckon he'd call you up?
He'd let us in.
Yeah. Then you could do the reunion gig.
Then we would.
In the bunker.
Yes.
What is next for you guys over here?
We fly back to the U.S. tomorrow. We have a show next weekend.
Have you got kind of big touring plans? Obviously, you're kind of like house band of Reading and Leeds Festival.
Yeah, we just finished a big tour of the U.S. I think we're going to come over here next summer and do more dates in the U.S. as well.
Mm-hmm. On the festival tip, I have to ask you about Fyre Festival. You were booked to play.
Yeah.
How close did you get to, did you land there?
We didn't land there. It was literally the day before we were supposed to fly that our production crew called us up and said, we don't think this is going to happen.
How glad are you now, with the documentaries and everything, that you aren't on them?
Pretty glad to not be there. I felt bad for all the people who
I didn't.
went there.
Fuck them.
It was, here's the deal, is our production crew for months and months ahead of time were like, we're not getting answers. We don't really know what's happening, just basic questions, staging questions, facilities questions, how much can we hang from the ceiling, all the stuff that goes into putting a show together, they weren't getting answers on. But they kept being told, no, this is going to happen, it's going to happen. And our crew is amazing. They'll, if they give us an outlet and some speakers, they'll put on a show. We'll make a show happen. We've played in downpours.
They didn't even have that though, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't. And for our crew to say we're not going to be able to put on a show means that it's not happening.
We mentioned Green Day earlier on. They've got this Hella Mega tour that's happening next year. Which is, it's a big lineup, so it's them and Weezer and Fall Out Boy, isn't it?
Yes.
When you saw that, were you like, hey guys, where was the call? Would you have done a kind of a co-headline thing with them? Or?
Oh, I think we would have. Yeah, totally. I didn't get the why didn't they call us vibe, but yeah, I think we would have done it.
On the internet, people often cover songs in the style of Blink-182. Mm-hmm. Do you fish these out? There's like
I've seen a couple. I haven't seen the Billie Eilish one.
Are you behind them or?
No.
No. Right. Does it bother you that people have nailed the formula so well?
No, it's cool. It's people on the internet are genius. There's some really smart, funny, clever people out in the world, and I wish I were behind it. But I think it's cool because it means that we have a style that people associate with our band, and it's not like we're doing it in the Fall Out Boy style, or we're doing it in whoever else's style. But Blink-182 has a specific sound, and it's cool.
It's almost become a meme, the Blink-182 sound, hasn't it? It's like,
I guess.
Yeah. So you mentioned you kind of accidentally started a non-beef with Tom over the internet. Your Twitter feed is just, it's nonsense, isn't it? I'm going to say, mostly.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's free, so people get what they pay for. I like Twitter. Twitter, I've made friends on Twitter. There's genius people on Twitter. It's a time suck, and it can be really depressing sometimes.
Yeah. Do you think that, had Blink-182 grown up in the era of the internet, you'd kind of come out the same? I think there's having such a kind of a neat sound, and it kind of came from being secluded from the world in a little way.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Do you think that kind of kids are missing out on that chance to?
Oh, I think that it's being a kid is completely different now. Mark would know better being a father. But I have my sisters have kids. I'm an uncle to a bunch of children, and it's I see their first thing that they get is a phone or something that's battery powered that's connected to a satellite. We were whatever happened to the crick and the sticks and the mud and the BMX bikes and fist fights, that's what I
More
soccer,
fist fights,
analog. I was an analog child, and I'm thankful for it. But hey, what are
And you
gonna
mentioned
do?
that your son is a Blink fan.
Yeah, he likes Blink. He'll tell me stuff. He'll like, he's like the other day, Dad, you know, a bunch of people on TikTok are using Blink songs.
He's our man on the ground.
Yeah, he's totally our
And the
man on the
question
ground.
is, at that point, do you say, what's TikTok?
No, I know what it is. I
That's
just,
what I said.
yeah. I don't know how to use it, and I don't have an account,
Right. Yeah,
but I
yeah,
do acknowledge that TikTok exists.
And is there anything that he says, you know, Dad, that's embarrassing, you can't do that anymore?
Everything. Everything I say, he rolls his eyes at. You know, I think he thinks that it's cool that I'm in a band. I think he likes our music. At the same time, I'm his dad, so I'm a shitheel, you know?
Yeah, like watching them together, like Mark is one of the coolest dads you could have, right? And even his son, you know, is just like, ugh. Like it's your dad, so you know, it's a father-son thing. Like, you know, Mark's not a dork or like outdated or doesn't understand what's going on. Far from it, but of course your child is as close as you are, they're always going to think that, right?
Yeah, brilliant. They're there to keep you in check, aren't they?
No, he's actually said to me, he was like, so I said something and he's like, you're not cool. And I go, not cool, I'm in a band. What are you talking about, I'm not cool? He goes, well, yeah, you're like in a band cool, but you're not, yeah, but you're not cool. I can't say yeet.
You're not doing blow off the kitchen counter when I wake up.
Totally.
What's up with that?
That's after he goes to school, right?
Yeah, wait till he's gone.
Just to finish off, so 9 albums, tantalisingly close to 10 albums, isn't it? So you've got to do another one. You're going to get to that magic number 10.
Of course we are.
Is this forever? Are you just going to kind of carry on?
We've always said...
There's times when you've been around, there's times when you've not been around. Feels like Blink's kind of a pretty solid thing now. Like,
Blink is a solid thing.
Yeah.
We have always said we were going to continue doing Blink as long as it's fun, and it is wildly fun. And you know, we are very blessed. We are still touring and selling out venues that we've been playing for a long time, and people are still coming to the shows, and people are still listening to our music. So yeah, absolutely.
a good number to aim for might be 182
There you go.
albums. Yeah. Which sounds unreasonable, but I heard yesterday that Gucci Mane's done over 100. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow. Okay. We
So
got
get cracking.
we got catching up to do.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Right on.
Matt, Mark, thank you very much. That was
Absolutely.
Blink-182.